Hey there, it's Kay, and thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my real number budget for my very first paycheck of March, and it's a big one. I'm so excited to share with you guys. So why don't we just hop right into it? So as I'm turning to the page, I just want to say to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for joining me again. And if you're new to my channel, I would love to see you follow me on my journey by subscribing down below. It's totally free. And now that I'm back at home, if you couldn't tell from my setup here, I will be posting much more consistently. So sorry about February. I do know that I have a little bit of catch up to play on that, but I was so excited about this pay period that I had to share this first. So I already did my monthly budget, and if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend you do, and I'll have it in the top right for you because this is where I get my estimated numbers from. But today I'll be sharing my real numbers. So let's get zoomed in. I saw in my analytics a lot of you watch on mobile, so if you have a really small phone screen, I want to make sure that you can see everything that I'm doing. So I will pick, I think this blue will be dark enough to show up, and then for my balancing I'll just do green in the spirit of St. Patty's Day. Oh yeah, it also, I thought that was really funny. So my estimated fixed expenses came out to $317, and as I was staring at the number, I was like, why is this important? Why would this only show up now? And then I remembered, oh, that's St. Patrick's Day. That's super convenient. But let me, hold on, I gotta grab my paycheck number. So my paycheck from work came out to $2,182, which is so much more than I budgeted for, which is really exciting. But on the flip side, I did get another form of income that I totally didn't budget for, and it's my student loan refund. In my debt payoff summary for the year, I had put it in April because that's when I was expecting it, but I got it in March. So I am gonna have to like flip my snowball goals between the months, which will show up in February's debt payoff update. But I didn't budget for this at all, so it did kind of screw with my monthly budget, but it's fine. My refund ended up being $28.21, which again, speaking of numbers, look, these are like the same set of numbers. So there's 2 2s, 1 8, and 1 1. That's weird. Okay, calculator, because I need to total these. 2182 plus 2821. $5,003. That's a 5K income. Holy schmoly. I gotta stay family friendly here, guys. So luckily also my paycheck was in surplus. It was more than I budgeted for. So on this we have a surplus of $382. So for a total surplus, let's see, 382 plus 2821, 3,200, and I think that says 303, yes. So I have a $3,200 surplus that I'm working with so far this month, which is crazy. So obviously before I sat down to film this, I actually had time to plan it, and I had to think very long and very hard about what I wanted to do with this money, because it is a lot of responsibility. And again, this is a student loan refund, so I have already had the student loan put on my account. It's added to my debt, and there is interest collecting on it. So it's not a straight up cash, like there is still kind of interest on it. So what I did with my last one is that I applied it towards debt, but for this one I decided that I really wanted to focus on my savings. So let's first work on my fixed expenses, which should be really easy because let me double check that I didn't have anything additional come up. Nope, everything's normal like I budgeted for. Oh, let me switch colors, because we are working with $5,003 and all my fixed expenses were regular, nothing irregular here. So still 317, and now we gotta take 5,003 minus 317, 4686. So on the positive side, so we were surplus 3203, and none of these were extra. So we did net zero out of fixed expenses, so we're still rocking a hella surplus here, which is going to carry over into cash envelopes. Now for my cash envelopes, I did budget a lot more than I normally do, but that's because I'm supposed to have to go back to New York for a little bit to finish up my job there. We had some setbacks, so we have to go back and revisit them. So I am going to stick with these numbers for now, and then if I end up not having to go back, then I should just have a ton of rollover money. But I did budget a little extra in allowance for myself because my birthday is coming up, and a little bit in gas, and then a lot of money between my two food categories. So just like my fixed expenses, cash envelopes worked out pretty much what I budgeted for. No changes on this side. So that means we have $700 for cash envelope expenses coming out of this paycheck, which is also what I've budgeted for the entire month. So there will be no cash envelope expenses on the second paycheck budget. So if we have 4686 minus 700, it's 3986. And we still have a surplus of 3203. So we're gonna bring that next into my sinking funds, because I am trying to save more money, and I'm doing that just because things are still very tentative with the economy and my job and whatnot. So I really want to avoid having any like expenses come up that would be debilitating. So we gotta save. So here I had already budgeted $500 to put into my sinking funds, which I think is a really solid amount. So for my currently existing sinking funds, I am just gonna stick with what I budgeted, but I do think I want to add another sinking fund. But before I do that, I do kind of want to jump ahead to extra savings, because like I said, with the student loan refund, I just want to make sure that I am using it responsibly and in what it's intended to be for. So I am going to be opening up another savings account for school expenses. So this is going to be moving forward money that I'm setting aside to cover tuition, because the way my tuition reimbursement works with my employers, I have to pay up front and then they reimburse me back after I pass my classes. So I still have to put money up front to get the money back, and this is going to be me setting aside the money to put up front going forward so that I can use my tuition reimbursement and not have to keep taking out student loans. So I want to make sure I'm setting aside like $2,000, because my tuition for 8 credits a semester usually runs me like $1,800. So I want to do $2,000 just to be super secure on that. So if we have what, 3986, we take the $2,000 for school, we take the $500 for the sinking funds. So we have $14.86. Because the sinking fund that I wanted to start is for a new iPad, which is technically a school expense, but because I also used it for personal and business, it's kind of a mixed expense. And I probably want to get a higher end iPad that I know will last me a longer time, because I have a iPad Gen 6, which has lasted me like 3 years, and it's definitely on its way out. I have it right here, actually. It's where I keep all my notes when I'm filming. So I definitely want to set aside some money to jumpstart saving for a new iPad. So I want to do probably, I think, 500. Because if I swap my snowball goals, jumping ahead here, swapping snowball between April and March. April, I think, was $1,100. So if I put 500 towards an iPad, that'll put me almost 1,000 towards the snowball. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I actually didn't budget anything. So I'm gonna set aside 500 towards the iPad, which means I'll be setting $1,000 into sinking funds, which is crazy. So left over is 2,986. And let me do my balance here. So these are zero, except this is deficit because we didn't budget for it. So on the category, we walk out deficit. And if we have 3203 minus 500, 2703. So we're still carrying over $2,700 in surplus into these last couple of sections. Like I said, this was so crazy. That's why I was like, I have to share this before I go back and catch up on February. This was just so much excitement. I'm like really excited for this. So if we, so it was 986 was gonna be the snowball amount, so that we would have the 2,000 to put into the school savings, which would then zero out the budget here at the bottom. So, oh wait, we gotta do some quick little math. 986 minus 283, because we went deficit on the snowball technically, because I had originally only budgeted for, I think, a $500 snowball. So we are still deficit 703, and then surplus 2,000. See, my squares aren't even meant to handle that much. And then we were deficit 2,000 on the category. So plus 2,000 minus 2,000 zeros out the budget. So here it is, guys. Here is my first paycheck budget of March, and it's an incredibly lucky one. I am so happy and so grateful. And if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I would love to see you leave a like and a comment down below, as well as subscribe if you're not already subscribed, so you can keep following me on my journey. And also, if you like my printables, they are available on my Etsy shop, which is KayPlannerPrintable, and I'll have that linked in a comment down below. Anyways, thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace out.